What's up, guys? Alpine Gremlin again here with some more World of Tanks. Since we're on a tank destroyer kick, I guess I'll share with you guys two vehicles today, two different games of vehicles that you've probably already seen on my channel in the past, but I decided to take these guys out for another spin. I've already ground down the German TD line, but I'd have a bunch of them still in my garage. So the first one up is the JagdPanther IV, also known as a flat panzer. Well, tuned up with one of my buddies from school, and I don't usually play assault on Corellia because I generally have it disabled, but my buddy does not have it disabled. So that means if you do platoon with somebody that does not have assault disabled, you will get it. So right now we're attacking, and the flat panzer gets a bad rap, in my opinion. You get a mediocre selection of guns for tier 6 for a tier 6 TD. In many players' opinion, you can either use the 88mm. It doesn't have that much penetration, or you can use the 75mm you got on the Stug. Now I love the Stug, and I love the 75mm on it. And I really like it on the JagdPanther IV too. It doesn't do a lot of alpha damage, but it's got a great rate of fire and it's got good penetration. Now, the two pieces of gameplay you're going to see are very different. Are two very different ways of playing. The vehicle, the way I'm playing this right now is I'm playing it a lot more conservatively, especially because we're attacking in a tank destroyer. One of the flat panzer's main advantages is its very good camo value. So you could see I'm behind this bush, and so I haven't been spotted yet. Now I don't have 6th sense on this tank. Just to let you, just as an example of how truly long I've had this vehicle for. But I am going to get hit here because that Stuart managed to spot my side. So there's a 409 damage hit from that KV-1S in the base. But I'm going to put some fire into this Stuart. You can see the good rate of fire on this and why I prefer it over the 88mm, because you can just melt people with it. And again, now I'm obviously spotted right now. I don't really have anything in between me and the Stuart, so I'm gonna have to sit here for a couple seconds while I lose the spot on me. So now I'm gonna move. Now, like I said, the flat Panzer IV does have very good camo value. So if you find yourself a good bush and a good sniping position, this tank is very, very deadly. It's also got very good mobility and speed. Now, not as much as the Stug at tier 5, but it's still a damn good TD, and the sloped armor on the front can bounce lower caliber shells if you angle it. So now I'm going to have to support the northern approach here because our guys are getting torn up down there. So I'm going to take out the T-28 just because I have a short reload, and that's another gun out of the fight. So I'm going to start putting some fire onto this T-14. You could just see him getting completely melted. And again, this is where this TD excels particularly well in a long-distance sniping support role, where you could just sit here and put this amazing DPM to use and just melt enemies. Now, the gun is actually pretty accurate, and it will, in most cases, hit what you're aiming at. However, there are limitations because that guy was over 500 meters away. So there's a Sherman Jumbo coming to flank our VK. He rams him to death. And I'm bouncing off of his frontal armor here, but he makes a big mistake. He turns his armor to face the BDR, and the BDR puts one into him and finishes the job. Now we got a Jackson coming down the base to defend the front of his base. So we're going to start melting him. Take his tracks off, and then he just starts to drop, and he gets taken out by our T-40. So there's that damn KV-1S that hit me earlier. So I'm going to start putting fire into him. Remember, now, what's interesting to note is he's actually, you heard that battle message because I actually did hit him, but he was outside of my view range. So even though you couldn't see the physical damage, the battle prompt still comes up that you hit him. So I mean, this battle is looking pretty up. We're up 2 tanks, 10-8, and so even though our north has been lost, we are in a very strong position. Now here you're going to see some interesting RNG for me. I cannot seem to hit this goddamn Hellcat, and I guess that's just RNG. But I have a lot of trouble actually getting the killing shot on this. He's a potential one-shot for me. Now he's really a one-shot for me at 62 HP. But you're gonna see, proves to be a little bit more difficult than I thought. We're up to 3 kills, so that is pretty good. And again, this is the perfect example of a game where the JagdPanzer can really shine, just as a silent stealth sniper. Now again, my crew is not very good, because this is back when I didn't really even understand how the crew perks work, so I don't have that many. I think I only have 1 perk. But yeah, you can see, look at me missing all these like perfectly aimed shots on his broadside, and it doesn't go through. And then now you could see only his turret is sticking up, and I get the kill. Makes sense, World of Tanks. Makes a lot of sense. But anyway, yeah, my crew isn't too good on this, because this is back when I really did not understand. Back when I was not that very good at this game, and my crew skills are not good, and I just haven't. I didn't want to spend the gold to retrain them. So at this point, this tank is staying as it is. But now the T-150, I'm gonna get the killing blow on him. 5 kills. We got 1 more, and we got ourselves a Top Gun. Here comes the last enemy, Churchill 1. And he gets taken down, and I take him out for my 6th kill and my Top Gun. So let's take a look at this after action report. This was a good game, and the exact kind of thing that the JagdPanzer IV excels at. Long distance sniping support and just staying hidden and not being detected, because even without proper camo training like my crew has, this thing is very, very hard to detect, especially at long ranges. Alright, so here is the after action report. Now, because I'm stupid and forgot to take the picture of the actual team list, I only grabbed the preliminary victory screen. But it still provides us with a good amount of information as to how the battle and what we did in it. So you could see, obviously with 8.11 out, apparently it gives you mastery badges, even though you might have already earned that mastery badge. I do have my ace tanker for this tank, but apparently that performance was good enough to give us the first class. Now it's important to note that we were using a premium tank during this particular time, so we managed to make 37,279 credits. We got doubled experience. We got 2,958, and you can see we hit 63% of our shots. Towards the end there, we were missing a lot because that was just RNG, especially on that Hellcat. I don't even understand that, but that's just the nature of this game, I suppose. You can see damage. We really only did 186 worth of spotting damage, but then again, we were sitting in the back on that hill, which is a good sniping position for the attacking team. And during regular battles, that hill is map control, because it gets shot, because it just dominates the northern sector. So you want to make sure you can counter that, because otherwise you get tanks like the JagdPanzer IV that just rip your team apart. You can see all the enemy tanks that we did damage to. We got 6 kills, so that netted us a Top Gun, and we did get the new high caliber medal with this particular game. That's when you do the most damage, and I believe it's about, you need to do at least 10% of the enemy's total HP. I've gotten a good amount of those since they added it, but it's always nice, and especially in a tier 6 game. So we definitely did our fair share in that battle. So anyway, let's move on to the next game, which is a very, very different type of game. Now, the thing about the German TD line is that it does go through a little bit of a good bit of progression. The German TDs, well, especially the original TD line, you know, they got those Waffentraggers and stuff now, but the thing about the original German TD line is that the flavor kind of changes the way you're supposed to play them. Up until Tier 7, you really want to be a little bit more passive. You want to be a good sniper, as you saw in the JagdPantzer IV game. But as soon as you get up to Tier 8 with the Ferdinand or the JagdPanther II, its counterpart, the playstyle can change. You can still use this as a sniper, but with this thing's speed and maneuverability and its very, very bouncy frontal upper casement, if you can hide that lower hull, you can effectively play this thing like an assault gun. And this is kind of what you're going to see here. This thing can take a huge amount of punishment, even from Tier 9s, and especially from Tier 8s, 7s, and 6s. Now, I'm platooned up with Volker Ball. Volker is in his Centurion 1. We're playing a standard battle on Karelia. And so, to start off, this thing, the way I have the camo trained up, this thing can be pretty stealthy as long as it's relatively far back behind the line. Unfortunately, I'm relatively close, and the size of this thing means that eventually I am going to get spotted by these guys. Now, I don't know whether or not I hit that 112 at this point, but I do know that I'm spotted because I do actually have 6th Sense on this tank. So now is my cue to move and lose the spot. Now, this T-20 has a death wish, as you can see. And so I'm going to put one right into his turret and hit him for 538 damage. When this 128mm gun hits you, you know when it hits you. I believe it does around 460 average damage, which is a good amount. Now, I am going to get penetrated through my lower hull here. I took a bounce from that SU, though, so I'm a little bit confident. Too confident, though, because those bounces do not last forever. The SU puts another shot into me and tracks me, but luckily, because I have a good repair crew, I am able to quickly get that track back up. Now, once I've spotted these guys, then the real fun is going to start. I'm moving up into these bushes to see what I can spot, but I take a more aggressive approach, a much more aggressive approach. Now I'm using that lovin as hull down cover. So right now, you can see that really the only thing that these guys can shoot at is my upper casement. And the area along the gun mantle and the casement that surrounds it is incredibly tough on this tank. The lower hull, being based on the Panther II medium tank, is not very strong. The lower glacis especially. But I am using this destroyed lovin to protect me, to protect that lower hull. So now the only thing these guys can shoot at is my upper casement. And in a Tier 8 battle like this is a very viable tactic. You can see all of the bounces I'm taking. It's also important to note that there is no artillery. And because of that, they can't dislodge me from this location that easily now, because they don't have artillery support. Now, I did take a bounce from that. I did take a hit from that SU. I actually can't see where he hit. Oh, you can see right there. He must have just slipped right by the lovin's gun, and you can see how it went right into right near my engine deck. I'm actually lucky that didn't cause a fire, but that's the only shot he's gonna get. Now you can see all these tanks shooting at me. The SU bounced again. I'm gonna put a good hit into this KV-4. Now I'm telling Volker. You can see Volker's right here, moving along the 0 line, 9 and 0 line. I'm telling Volker, these guys are so these guys are so preoccupied with me right now that they're not even paying attention. So you can move up there and really bring the pain. So now Volker is moving up there. So now they've got me in the middle of the map, giving Volker map control support, and Volker is pressuring those guys on that flank. So now they have to pick a target. They can either bounce off me, or they could show me their sides and focus on the guys rushing in. We've done now. There's that E25 that has bounced easily more than 7 or 8 shells off me. And more targets. I'm going to focus up the KV-4, and I set him on fire. There goes another one of their Tier 8 heavies. And I'm going to get the SU's gun out of there. But he disappears, so I switch my attention to the East 25. But Volker's got him under control. So now we're going to finish melting this SU. You can see already there's only 3 tanks left. So now we can move up. Now, map control is very important, and in every map in World of Tanks has a certain position that gives your team map control. Most cases, it's in the center of the map, like here, the island here, the hill on mines, the middle near the railroad track in Prokhorovka. They've all got specific advantages, and gaining control of them is very important. As you can see, this team found out the hard way. Now, that IS-6 disappeared, but now he's relit, and we think he's drowning himself. But it turns out he's just taking, I guess he's taking one of the Fords. But I put one into the side of his turret. Tiger 2's moving up to engage him. He's just, it's a bad day for him now. I'm going to put another hit into his side for the kill. And there's our brothers in arms as well. 3 kills per team. I didn't even notice that, based on what was going on there. So anyway, you can see how much of a different fast-paced game that was as compared to, say, a tank like the JagdPantzer IV, where I was really just sitting back and sniping. But in this tank, I was actually absorbing and taking damage for my team and still dishing out a lot of punishment. While this tank is in higher tier environments, while this tank is a better off sitting back and sniping, when it's top tier, as long as you can get it hull down, you can really just tank hits and dish out a lot of damage with that 128mm of yours. And that gun hits really hard. And that's one of the reasons why this is another one of the German TDs that I have kept in my garage, because it's just so fun. Alright, let's take a look at this after action report.